They knew something was wrong. Why are we listening to the lab results and not the patients? The patient was right, the doctors were wrong again. Those are today's topic. I am Shana Melissa Stockman, the autoimmune expert, a 30 plus year registered nurse and nurse practitioner who gets the patients better and feeling better even when the doctors and medicines couldn't, wouldn't, or didn't. I especially love helping my fellow autoimmune warriors and my fellow nurses. Today, I got to tell you, I am exhausted from being up almost all night trying to rectify doctor mess ups when they don't listen to the patients and the family. This is a very near and dear topic to me. I am normally happy, never sad or mad, but I am both sad and angered over healthcare providers not listening to the patients, not listening to the family members, and only looking at the test results. Let me give you an example. Things may look different than they appear, right? If you look close, oh my God, it might look like I'm not wearing a top, right? But I am. Maybe I should put the camera down a little. So I want to let you know, just because people might look okay on the outside doesn't mean they're not suffering on the inside, especially my fellow autoimmune warriors who are high achievers. We know you guys are struggling. You're hiding your exhaustion, your pain, because you don't want your bosses to know or your clients to know how sick you really are. Because you know what? You might be a healthcare provider and you don't want your patients to know you're not feeling healthy, right? So this topic is very dear and near to my heart. I want to thank each and every one of you that are tuning in right now. Please drop us some hearts so we can come back, share the love with you, and let us know where you're tuning in from. Now, check this out. The patient was right. The doctor was wrong. The patient kept asking for help. The tests looked normal. So nobody listened. They should have. Listen to the patients, not just the test results. Okay, here's an example. They knew something was wrong. The family, the patients knew something was wrong. They kept asking for help, trying to advocate. They kept getting told everything looked fine. Your tests are normal, giving them false reassurance. Meanwhile, the symptoms got worse, the fear got worse, the situation got worse. As healthcare providers, we have an obligation to listen to the patients, listen to the family. As family members, we trust the concerns to the healthcare providers and we need to advocate for our treasured loved ones. Unfortunately, that doesn't always happen. If you've ever felt unheard in your healthcare system, you are not alone. Share with us or share this with someone who needs it and drop down below. Listen, and I will listen to your signs, your symptoms, even when your test results are screaming normal. You see, often the patient's symptoms show sometimes even years before the tests tell because the doctor has to order the correct test at the correct time and put the pieces of the puzzle together. And too often, I don't want to bash all doctors, but too often, way too often, the doctors and other healthcare pros are just looking at the lab tests and not listening to the patient's screaming symptoms. And by the same token, sometimes the patients out there, the non healthcare pros, you might have screaming symptoms and ignore that because your doctors are telling you your tests are okay. So please advocate for yourself. Do some research. Reach out to me. I listen to my patients. Our initial consult is at least a full hour, undivided attention. So I hope this resonates to you, and I hope I'm not just rambling on, and I hope this makes sense for you. Now, as both a healthcare provider and a family member, I am totally furious. The patient kept saying, something's wrong, something's wrong, something's wrong. The test looked okay, normal. So nobody listened, but the patient was right. Patients are more than just their lab results. Listen to the symptoms, listen to the families, listen to the patients. Often the patient's signs and symptoms show way before the tests ever tell. So if you've ever felt dismissed by a healthcare professional, comment, listen, and I am here for you. I will listen. And I hope you're listening to me right now. Now, why? Just why are we listening to the lab tests more than the patients who have the symptoms and the signs? Want to know why so many people are getting worse before their tests even tell? Because somewhere along the line, we started treating the tests instead of listening to the patients. I recently watched family members' concerns totally get ignored despite repeat calls saying, "Hello, help me, my symptoms, I can't breathe." The symptoms are real. The symptoms were getting worse. The suffering was real, but everyone kept ignoring it because the test looked okay, not that abnormal. Normal tests do not mean that nothing is wrong. Normal tests do not mean that your symptoms and your signs aren't real. They do not mean that something's not right. So it's important that you advocate for yourself as the healthcare provider, that you listen to the patient's screaming symptoms over the abnormal lab tests. And as the patient yourself, that you make it be known how severe your symptoms are. The patient's experience matters, and sometimes the symptoms show days, weeks, or often, very often, years before the correct test is ordered and a correct diagnosis is given. So if you've ever happened to you or a treasured loved one, comment below me and I want to reach out to you and show you that there is more to it. So I hope this helps you. If you are a patient and you've been told that the tests look okay, you must be getting older, it's just stress, you just need more sleep, or your tests are normal, or it's just your hormones, please advocate for yourself. Reach out to a healthcare provider that will listen to you like I will. I am a licensed healthcare provider and I see clients in many different states, continents, and countries via video visits that are private and confidential. So I encourage you, if you're a patient and your doctor won't listen to you, write down all of your symptoms so that you can go there and say, "Doc, look, I am exhausted. I'm sleeping 10 hours. I'm forgetting things. I'm young. I'm in severe pain, 10 out of 10 on the pain scale." So write down your list of your symptoms. If your healthcare provider won't reach out to you, it's time for a second opinion. Often if you go to get an estimate for a job on your house or your car and it's too expensive, you get a second opinion, right? Or you didn't like the way the construction was done in your house, you fire that person and you get a second opinion. You have the power with your one life, with your body, to fire your healthcare provider or to get a second opinion or a third or a fourth or a fifth opinion. And if you are the caregiver of a treasured loved one, it is important for you to advocate for them. Write down a list with a pen and a paper of all their signs, all their symptoms, all their abnormal tests, who you spoke to and when, what tests you would like to see, what you think it might be, and ask them, "Hey, what do we think this is? How can we get rid of these symptoms?" And, if you don't like the answers, get a second opinion, get a third opinion, reach out to another licensed healthcare provider like myself. I hope this helps you. I have seen this. I am so furious. I have seen this time and time and time again where the doctors are blowing off the patients, or even the patients are blowing off their severe symptoms because they're told by the doctors, "Your tests are normal, you're getting older." And that's not the case. I have seen probably thousands of patients that were blown off by doctors when I dug a little deeper and I discovered they really had legit abnormal lab tests, but the correct tests were just never done or looked at. So it's a lot more common than you think. Do not let a get doctor gaslight you. Make an appointment, take notes, write down all your signs and symptoms, Ask them, hey, what could this be? What tests are you going to do? How are you going to get rid of my pain, my exhaustion, my brain fog? Reach out to another provider. If you're taking care of someone and you don't like the answer they're getting, insist on a second opinion, insist on a third opinion. You have the right to ask for another test. Say, doc, you know what? We never checked me for autoimmune, or we never checked, did we ever check my thyroid? So you have the power to ask for a specific test to get another consultation. And if you're fighting for the rights of a treasured loved one who's going to the doctor or in the hospital, you have the power to say, hey, doc, can we do this test? Hey, can we get a second opinion? Can we get a consult with the specialist? Maybe the blood doctor, the oncologist, or the endocrinologist. You have the power to ask for a consult of a specialist, especially if you're just seeing a primary doctor who does general medicine and doesn't specify in that area. It's like this: when you're fixing your house, right? If you have an electric problem, you're going to the subspecialist, you're going to the electrician. You have a plumbing problem, you're going to the plumber, right? So, same with your health. You don't have to go to just the general doctor. If you have a heart problem, you can go to the heart doctor. If you might have you can't breathe, you have the right to see a pulmonologist and ask for imaging of your lungs. So I hope this helps you, and I hope you see value in this. And I encourage you, if you're not already connected with me, hit that follow button, drop a heart or a comment so I can come back and share some love with you. Reach out to me for a private consultation. If you're not sure how that works, just reach out to me. We'll hop on a quick call. I'll steer you through it. And we'll see if we're a good fit together and what the price points are and things like that. If you'd like to subscribe to the YouTube, if you're watching it there, click that subscribe button. It's free. You'll get notifications of new clips. If you're not getting our newsletter, just go to worldwellnessexpert.com, drop your email. You'll start getting my newsletters with exclusive invites, special savings, freebie gifts, and new current information all the time. And if you missed our last workshop, it's already gone. You can get on the wait list now for the next one. You can catch the replay right now before I take it down. This is the first time ever I released the replay after the workshop, and I'm ready to take it down. So just go to worldwellnessexpert.com/VIP and watch the replay now before I take it down, because soon there's going to be a wait list for my next new workshop, and that might not be for quite a while, and it's going to be all different content, so you're going to miss out on this. So again, hit that subscribe button, go to worldwellnessexpert.com, claim our newsletters that are free. Watch the replay of our last super workshop before it disappears at worldwellnessexpert.com/VIP. And I don't make it that easy for you guys to get private consults because I want to weed out the people that aren't serious. So, but if you're serious about a private consult, reach out to me directly or the Shana team, or go to, I think it's worldwellnessexpert.com/private consultations, and you can book a short discovery call to see if we're a good fit, or a deep dive full hour consultation and a follow-up where I can get to go through all of your test results. Like, that's what I've been doing all night for some of my people. Okay. And I've discovered so many things that the doctors miss. I'm not bashing all of them. There are some good doctors out there. And a lot of them are rushed to see more patients quicker because the reimbursements are less. And they work for these big conglomerate healthcare facilities where it's all about the numbers, numbers, numbers. How much revenue did you bring in? And a lot of them are getting bonuses based on ordering less testing for you, keeping you out of the hospital, or keeping you sicker longer with more critical diagnosis so they can bill for a longer visit. And, it's just a shame in our, I've been in the healthcare field well over 30 years as a licensed healthcare pro. And it used to just be about the patient. And that's what I'm about. But unfortunately, a lot of them are about the numbers, how many they can see, how quick, how many tests can they bill you for, how many procedures they can bill you for, even though you might not need them. Again, I'm not bashing all of them because there are some good ones out there, but the system needs a whole overhaul because right now the sick care system gives the most amount of money to the doctors that keep the patients the sickest the longest, right? Because if he keeps you on medicine, you got to come back every month or a few months. Then they got to do this test and that test. Then you need to come in for the results. And now that you're on the meds, you're trapped there and you need to keep going back month after month and year after year after year. Where our sick care system should monetize people like me that keep you the healthiest the longest. See, my role is I am out for your wellness over your wallet. And I am out for the patients over the profits. Where unfortunately in today's healthcare society, a lot of doctors, not all, are good salesmen. They will try to sell you tests you don't need, procedures. Oh my God, I just saw this morning, massively invasive procedures that were totally unnecessary, risking patients' lives for their own monetary gratification. I think it's disgusting. Patients are dying because they're getting procedures that are not needed for the wallets of the doctors that are ordering them. Like I said, they're not all bad. There are some very good doctors out there, but there are some greedy ones that are billing for every procedure and every possible test they can do, even ones that are not necessary and even ones that risk the patient's life for their own profits. I think it's disgusting. I think our sick care system needs a whole overhaul. And I wish the healthcare providers that keep the patients the healthiest out of the ER, out of the hospital, off the meds, not needing dependency upon the healthcare providers, should make the most amount of money. But unfortunately, right now, we make the least amount of money. So that's all I gotta say. My gold nuggets for you are write down all your signs, your symptoms, your abnormal tests, or for those of your treasured loved ones. Advocate for yourself, advocate for your loved one. Say, hey, doc, I have this, and this. What are you going to do about it? What tests are you ordering? How are you going to help me with these symptoms? Can I see the specialist? Can I get another opinion? Reach out to me. I do take if you have flexible spend down, health savings account, reimbursements, those things, I can work with you. A lot of my clients, they use their HSA, their health savings account, their FSA, their flexible spend down, or they get reimbursed from their insurance. And there's payment plan options as well. So I want to say, I keep this short and sweet. Advocate for yourself, advocate for your treasured loved ones. And please, for the love of God, my fellow healthcare pros out there, please stop listening to only the tests. The tests sometimes show years after the patients had the symptoms. I see this time and time and time again. And it is so, so, so common. Please listen to your patients. They can help you make a more accurate diagnosis before you even order the test. So please listen to their signs, listen to their symptoms, listen to what diagnoses they had, what tests they had that were normal, what tests they had that were abnormal. And a lot of times we can figure it out before we even order additional tests. Too many healthcare providers are just into repeating the same test over and over and over. So if you're out there and you're like, man, I've been to the doctor and I say, doc, can you check it again? And they keep checking the same test, you're going to get the same answers, right? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different outcome. If you want a different outcome, you have to do something different. Go to a different doctor, get a different test, see a different healthcare provider. So I want to say, list your symptoms, advocate for yourself, see, get a second opinion, get a third opinion, go to the specialist, reach out to me. You know how many people have come to me so far in my 30 plus years? I've been dealing with a lot of medical mysteries for over 30 years. I developed that reputation of like the OG of house. I have never to this day not been able to figure out a medical mystery that the doctors couldn't. And I pride myself on that. But in all honesty, it takes up so much of my time, energy, and effort. So I hope you guys appreciate that. Um, I think that's all I want to say is advocate for yourself, push for the correct test, push for a specialist consult, push for another opinion, push for the tests you need, the second opinions you need. Doctors that don't want to give you a second opinion, sounds like maybe they're covering up for something. I don't know. That's just my thought. And I'm here for you. And again, worldwellnessexpert.com. And if you want to book a private consult, I think it's worldwellnessexpert.com/private consultations. And the replay, worldwellnessexpert.com VIP. Check it out before it expires. And please advocate for yourself. Please, for the love of God, advocate for your treasured loved ones. Please, my fellow healthcare pros, where you're often putting your own healthcare needs last. Because you know what I realized is as the healthcare provider, I was taking care of the world, everyone, friends, family, coworkers, patients, and I was the go-to healthcare provider. Well, I still am. And then you know what? You might be that go-to healthcare provider. Your friends, your family, your neighbors go to you, right? But then who do you go to? They all depend on you. So, my fellow healthcare providers, I am here for you. I am now like the healthcare provider for the healthcare providers. I want to help take care of you because you know what? No one else is going to save you. We need you to get better and stay healthy and get better so that you can take care of your friends, family, neighbors, patients. So I want to be that healthcare provider that you might not have. Because you know what? When I was going through 30 plus years in the healthcare field, we were always told, don't ask the doctors about your health care, your own health issues or that of your family. So we're working in healthcare with the doctors that are taking care of everyone. And we're told we can't even ask them a question about our own health or our family's health. And I'm like, wait a second, we're the healthcare providers and we're getting the worst care. So if you're out there and you can relate to this, let me know. I'd love to help you. I want to be that healthcare provider for you. I have the power to order tests on you in no matter what state you are, no matter what country you are. There's a will, there's a way. I can make it happen. I have little connections around the world. So, if you don't realize it, my area of expertise, mission, passion, and purpose are autoimmune disorders, helping especially the ladies, especially my fellow nurses, healthcare pros, reduce your symptoms, signs, autoimmune flare ups, and reliance on meds so you can get better, feel better, have more joy. Imagine this right now. You might be waking up exhausted after sleeping 10 hours in pain, afraid to look in the mirror. You see your hair is falling out. You're afraid to hop on the scale. You got to take meds. You're like, do you eat? Which one's first, second, third? You're too exhausted to want to do anything, right? But imagine this now. You wake up you have energy, you're stretching and you're like, oh my god, it doesn't hurt. You're leaping out of bed, you're looking in the mirror, you're seeing your much younger self. You want to hop on that scale because you know those numbers are better. You're like, wait, I don't need to take my pills anymore, which means I don't have to rush to eat. Wow, I have great energy, I'm not in pain. What should I do today? What brings me more smiles, more joy? Am I going to hike, bike, hang out with the babies, the grandbabies, or whatnot? Imagine you had that, right? How great would that feel? But imagine you never have that again, right? Imagine you didn't do anything about it. So you don't have that pain free, energetic, med free lifestyle where you can have more joy. What people ask, what's it going to cost for this? And I'm like, what's it going to cost staying stuck where you are? If you think about it right now, you're exhausted. Your productivity is probably at half level. With the brain fog, you're forgetting things. You're writing them down. That's taking you twice as long. You're forgetting to do what you're supposed to do. You're trying to do it a third time, even better. You might be losing days from your business, and that's costing you tons of revenue, commissions, bonuses. Then, if you get sick, you're losing more days, weeks, commissions, revenue. And then think about all the money you're spending on the copays for the doctors every month, the double copays for the specialists, the ER visits. And let's not forget the hospitalizations, the tests that aren't covered, the meds that aren't covered, the over the counters, the sick time, the lost revenue. So, you know what? It costs more to stay sick than it does to get healthy. Think about that. And I know I'm right on this. And I had a client recently. She's like, yeah, I want to do this Shayna thing. And let me check with my husband. And the husband's like, what if it doesn't work? And she said to her husband, what if it does? So don't ask, what if it doesn't work? Ask, what if it does? Don't ask, can you afford this? Say, can I afford not to do something and move forward? So, as I want to say, I love each and every one of you. The first step you have to do is reach out to me. Okay. I can't reach out to you. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you're suffering from. I don't nag and hound people or anything like that. I'll hop on a quick little call, see if we're a good fit, maybe guide you in the right direction. Hey, go do this or that. Or maybe we're a good fit and we move forward with a consultation or a step by step program. So, I individualize it to the people. A lot of people always ask me, hey, what supplement should I be on? What test should I have done? It's not general. I gear it to the specific problem. The problem is when you guys look at Google, you're looking at general information. If you won't look at Google to solve your electrical problems in your house or your plumbing or the engine in your car, why, for the love of God, are you looking at Google to solve your one life, right? You can't get replacement parts that easy. Don't do it. You know what? We can always find someone cheaper, but that doesn't mean the job's going to get done, right? You hire someone cheaper to, I don't know, spackle and paint, and then it's a crappy job, and then you got to first hire the better person. That costs you a little more. So sometimes just hiring the right person to begin with instead of saving a couple dollars is really going to save you a fortune in the end. So I hope this helps you. I thank each and every one of you for tuning in, for letting me ramble. We have almost 250,000 views on our YouTube channel. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't, click that follow button, click that notification, that subscribe button, connect, send me a DM. Please share this with someone you know that has been gaslit by the doctors, told their tests are normal, that fellow healthcare provider that's putting their own needs last. Just click that share button and have them check this out. And I hope to see you moving forward in a private consultation or our Your Wellness Journey step-by-step program. And again, the easiest way to get started is worldwellnessexpert.com/VIP before I tear down the replay right now, or reach out for that private consult. And again, this is repetitious because some people hop on, midway. So if you hear me say the same thing a couple of times, it's done intentionally. And I'm sorry that you had to hear it twice. So the best is subscribe, connect, follow, send me a DM, click the share button. Make sure you're on our email list at worldwellnessexpert.com. You'll get a pop-up. Submit your email there. For the replay, worldwellnessexpert.com/VIP before it disappears forever. If you'd like a daily dose of positivity, 30 screensavers, worldwellnessexpert.com/30 days. And if you're ready for that private consult and you're serious, let's do it. worldwellnessexpert.com/private consultations. Okay, if you forget any of that, just go to worldwellnessexpert.com or search Shana Melissa Stockman. All right, guys, be well, biohack, Olo, and I hope to see you soon. Remember, advocate for yourself. The patient was right. The doctors were wrong. The patient asked for help. The tests look normal. So remember this. If the patient was right, the doctors were wrong. Keep asking for help. Keep looking for different tests, not the same tests that are normal again. Reach out to somebody that's going to listen to you. And if you're a healthcare pro, please, for the love of God, listen to your patients over the test. And if the same test is repeated over and over and over and it's normal, maybe, just maybe, consider doing a different test or giving them a consultation with an expert. In the sick care system, there is no autoimmune expert. It's just a shame. If somebody has asthma, they go to the lung doctor. If somebody has a thyroid issue, Hashimoto's, they go to the thyroid doctor. But the problem is both of those and many more are really autoimmune issues. You see, when you have Hashimoto's and you go to the endocrinologist, the thyroid doctor, he's addressing, or she is addressing your thyroid, but not the root cause of your autoimmune disorder. And that's why a lot of the people that come to me are getting worse and worse and worse on the meds. And then they need a second med and a higher dose and a third med. Because you know why? If the first med was controlling their problem, they would need a higher dose, a second time a day, a third med, and a fourth med. Obviously, the meds are not controlling the disorder. And a lot of these disorders, those patients are going to the wrong specialist. They're going to the thyroid, the endocrinologist doctor for their Hashimoto's. But Hashimoto's is not really just a thyroid issue, it's an autoimmune disorder. In the sick care system, there is no autoimmune specialist. That is my mission, my passion, my purpose are autoimmune disorders. That is predominantly what I do. I am not a general doctor that you're going to go to for, I don't know, a little tick bite and kidney failure. Okay. I am the subspecialist for autoimmune. So if you think you have an autoimmune and your doctor's missed it, please reach out. I know I can help with you. I will do a deep dive. I will ask you ahead of time your signs, your symptoms, your allergies, your family history, tests that were normal, tests that were abnormal. You're going to send them to me ahead. We're going to look everything over. We're going to hop on an hour consultation after you fill out all those forms. We're going to go through it all. And I'm going to say, did you ever have this or that? No. Oh my God. Wow. It could be this or that. And then we're going to do those tests. And then you're going to get a follow-up included in it as well. So all in a private video consultation with me. So I hope that helps you, and I hope to see you on the other side. Well, soon. worldwellnessexpert.com. You could do / private consultations. Be well, biohack, Olo, and I hope I could stop this screen